according to Lauren Wise and her crew, you should definitely not be doing vigorous exercise while trying to get pregnant because it could decrease your fertility rates. But according to Mena and his crew over here, you want to be participating in moderate intensity exercise because it will increase your chances of getting pregnant. So which is it? What do we do? It's so confusing. The bigger question is, what type of exercise should you be doing and how much of it should you be doing? Because that's the key to making sure you don't accidentally decrease your chances of getting pregnant by exercising. Hey everybody, welcome back. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm Dr. Nicole. I'm actually a pelvic floor specialist and a physical therapist, so exercise is my thing, my jam. I myself am actually trying to get pregnant, and some of you have been following my journey here on YouTube, and it's really exciting to share that with you. And one of the things I thought that you guys might have questions about is, what is exercise supposed to look like when we're trying to get pregnant? Across the board, all professionals agree you should definitely be exercising when you're trying to get pregnant, but there's little variations in like how much of it you should be doing and what exactly you should be doing. That's where the confusion comes in, but we're going to clear all that up in this video. We know that exercise decreases stress levels. High stress levels contribute to high cortisol levels, and high cortisol levels mean decreased chance of getting pregnant. We also know that being overweight contributes to decreased rates of getting pregnant, and exercise is a great way to maintain our weights. We also know that being sedentary or sitting a lot, no matter what weight you are, also contributes to decreased fertility rates. So it seems pretty obvious that we should be exercising. So now you're wondering, like, how much should I be doing? What does the research say about that? The research says they really want you to get about 30 minutes 5 days a week of moderate intensity exercise. If you're like me, you're thinking, what exactly does moderate intensity exercise mean? Moderate intensity, you can go by heart rate and max heart rate, but that's all very confusing. So a very simple way to know if you're in the moderate intensity exercise rate is to just go ahead and see if you can talk or chat with someone while you're working out. And the reason we don't want to exercise too hard is because Lauren Wise did a study and showed that women that were participating in vigorous exercise actually had decreased fertility rates. They're not exactly sure why that's happening. We do know that being underweight or not having enough body fat can mess with our menstrual cycle, can keep us from ovulating and things like that. But even in women that weren't considered underweight, there was still a correlation and a decreased amount of pregnancies that happen in women that did vigorous exercise. So now really is not the time to be trying to push yourself really hard, get new record, beat your personal records or things like that. Now is the time to be getting movement in, to be healthy at a moderate intensity. Some examples of exercises that might be a vigorous intensity would be like jump roping or doing burpees. It might be doing your max lifts at the CrossFit gym. It would be cycling at a really intense speed or jogging, running long distances, things like that. Things that are considered moderate intensity are lifting and resistance training, about the 8 to 15 rep and the moderate intensity level. So again, you are getting your heart rate up, that's totally fine, but you're not like gasping for air and you're not doing your max lift at this point. Brisk walking is good, cycling at a leisurely pace, doing activities like gardening and golfing. Those are all moderate activity levels. While preparing for this video, I also found a really great resource that talks specifically about the research that was done for women that are overweight, that have PCOS, and who are going through IVF, because there are some special considerations if you're in any of those categories. If you are overweight, we know that it's okay to work at a little bit more vigorous levels. In that study that Lauren did, there was no correlation with lower fertility rates with women that were overweight. We also know that women with PCOS have more regulated hormones when they are participating in exercise, and that's with or without weight loss. So don't get worried about, well, the scale's not showing a loss, so it's probably not helping my fertility. No, the study actually found that whether or not they lost weight didn't matter, but women that exercise with PCOS definitely had increased chances of getting pregnant. If you're going through IVF treatments, one of the things you might have heard is that you shouldn't exercise because you do have an increased risk for bad things happening. The bad thing that could happen if you are going through IVF is ovarian torsion. And there's actually a 0.03, so 0.03% chance that you could end up with ovarian torsion during your IVF treatments. And I get it that that percentage is small, but it might not be worth it for you because I know you have a a ton invested if you are going through IVF treatment. But what I do want you to know is that the activities that would increase your risk for ovarian torsion are things that involve a lot of twisting or quick movements back and forth. So if you think about agility workouts, if you think about flipping upside down with like acrobatics or aerial aerobics, or maybe doing flips in the pool, different activities where you're really like twisting and contorting and moving in different directions fast. You're a tennis player, you're a racquetball player, or what have you. Inverted yoga positions would be another thing that could increase your risk for ovarian torsion. So it's perfectly safe to walk and exercise in planes where you're not doing a lot of twisting and moving around. You do what feels comfortable for you, because I don't know your situation as well as you, but that is why sometimes you hear that it's not safe to exercise during IVF, and those are some of the things that you can do if you still do desire to exercise. So now that we have confirmed that exercise is definitely a good idea if you're thinking about getting pregnant, if you're trying to conceive soon, you really want to prepare your body for pregnancy, yes, definitely you want to be exercising. I want to make sure you have lots of good examples, so I'm going to go through a workout that I've programmed myself. At the end of this video, some other examples would be Pilates, resistance training such as lifting weights or using bands, as long as you're sticking to the 8 to 15 rep mark and you're also not doing your max weight but staying more in that moderate intensity. And also things like push-ups and pull-ups and other body weight exercises are a great thing to do. Just make sure you stay in that moderate intensity level. Of course, any information that your doctor has given you specifically is way more valuable than a general statement that I'm making here on YouTube. But in general, if you're healthy and you've been cleared for exercise, it's a great place to start if you're thinking about getting pregnant soon. When programming workouts, I really like to make them simple but challenging, and also maybe it's a 20-minute window, maybe it's a 30-minute window. It all depends what my kids are gonna do. So I like to pick 4 exercises. For this one, I'm gonna do 1 arm, 1 legs, and 1 that's like a core kind of full body. And then the 4th is gonna be something that's going to get my heart rate up. I'm gonna do about 8 to 15 reps of each of those, just like what's recommended if you wanna be in the moderate exercise range. And I'm just gonna walk you through some of the cues I like to think about to make sure I'm protecting my core, engaging the right muscles, and just doing them overall the right way. In thinking about leg exercises, I really do like to include activities that are going to be on a single leg. So this is going to be a leg exercise by doing a lunge, which is certainly challenging, but then it's also going to challenge our balance and core a little bit by going up into a single leg position. So for this lunge, you're going to bring your right leg forward, left knee down towards the ground, and then raise that right knee up towards the sky. Switch to the left foot, lunge down, left knee up towards the sky. Switch, right foot. Make sure you're keeping your core nice and tight and engaged throughout. You really shouldn't be wobbling, so none of this on your way down or your way up. You should be as straight as possible. Also, you want to think about going down into a lunge where your knee does not go forward past your toes. So if I switch directions here, hope you can see okay. I'm going to go down. My knee is staying back. It's not going way forward. And then up into a march. A little bit of wavering there, but this is real life. Up into a march, down into a lunge, up into a march, really powering through my core. And my little back leg is doing a lot of the work. You can either do 8 on one side, 8 on the other side, or you can alternate right, left for a total of 16 reps there. For this next exercise, it's going to be easiest if you have some kind of a yoga mat on the ground, just to protect your knees and your joints a little bit. This is actually called a bear crawl move. And how this move is going to work is you're going to be on hands and knees, and you're going to just engage your core as you exhale, lift up your knees, and you're going to extend your right leg, bring it back in, extend your left leg, bring it back in. If your core is no longer tight, drop your knees down. If it is able to still maintain that contraction, just keep going. Right, left, extending it back, but never letting that knee touch until you inhale and relax your belly. When we think about arm exercises, if you want to know something really simple that you can do, even if you don't have any weights, I mean, there's a million things you can do with weights, but there's also some things you can do with body weight as well. I like to think about push-ups, because push-ups are going to work the triceps on the way down, and then you're going to use the chest on the way up a little bit. Just a really good full body. If it's too hard for you to do a regular traditional push-up, or you've had a baby in the near past, and you just want to really protect your core, you can always do elevated push-ups. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. Show you from a different angle here. I'm using the edge of the bed. You can certainly use a chair. You could use the wall if you have one of those available. My dresser. The key here is that the more horizontal that you are, the more challenging the exercise is going to be. Again, you want to keep your core really nice and tight, and you want to make sure that you keep your hands up under your shoulders as much as possible rather than way out to the sides or forward. And again, you can do knees, you can do a traditional push-up, but for me right now, being postpartum, traditional push-ups are a little bit challenging, so I like to do just a little bit of an elevated push-up. My personal favorite is to save the cardio move for the end, but you could also do it at the beginning or somewhere in the middle if you wanted. I made sure to make this cardio exercise something that you could do even if you've had an IVF procedure and you're really trying to avoid like agility, fast back and forth movements, or a lot of twisting. This is going to be a nice, like straight core, but you are going to get your heart rate up. It's called a squat jump. With the squat, you want to make sure you're sitting down backwards, powering up through your glutes, nice and straight. But as you come up, you're just going to add a little bit of a hop if you can. Doing this is certain to get your heart rate up. You could just go up on toes if you wanted, but the idea is to go at a pace that's a little bit quicker. Now for the other exercises, you do 8 to 15 reps, but for this one, I would try to shoot for 30 seconds to 60 seconds. Whatever you can do to be able to talk, carry on a conversation a little bit, but that you couldn't sing. Like if I tried to sing a song right now, I wouldn't be able to because I'm too winded. I'm almost too winded to talk to you right now. So you want to stay in that moderate range, meaning you're getting your heart rate up, but still be able to talk. As we've already talked about, the goal is 30 minutes, 5 days a week. So depending on how long those reps take you, you might be able to do 3 or 4 rounds. So you run through each of the 4 exercises and you start back at the beginning. If you can't make it all the way to the end, or you hit that 30-minute mark before you've gone through the whole round, that's okay, just stop whenever. These are the type of programs I create for women all the time, so if you want some help with more specifics, or you're like, I love that workout, I would love to see more workouts like that, go ahead and click the link in the description and it'll show you exactly how to get hooked up with me and some of my 1-month programs. It's always a great idea to talk to your doctor specifically though before you start any new exercise program. You're so wise for considering exercise before you even get pregnant. Something else that you definitely want to know about is ovulation, and I talk all about that in this video here. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I will see you all in the next video.